Hello, everybody.
Thank you.
So this is my beautiful baby and my very handsome husband. They're both named Jonathan, so it's easy to pick. So they play a very big part in my testimony. So that's probably why he asked to bring them up. And well, hi everybody. Whew. If I get emotional, I'm already getting emotional. I'm sorry.
It's okay, we like emotion.
Yeah, no, not me. Okay, so I guess I can start with the Lord blessed me with parents that are amazing now. But when I was born to parents who were addicted to crack and cocaine and lived the lifestyle of running from the cops and yada yada yada. And I can remember being in a crib. Oh, my mom. She can testify. I remember being in a crib, and I told this to my father like at around the age of 15. He didn't know. Seeing him snorting cocaine, and I remember these black little people just rushing through the room and flying around, and I couldn't understand until I became a Christian, which now I realized it was demons. And I told him that, and I explained the apartment, and he freaked out and started crying because he's like, that's exactly right. And he didn't think I'd remember that because I was only months old. Yeah. And so I was I guess introduced to that early, especially in elementary. I went to a really bad school, and I knew a lot of kids that their mothers would have them steal. They were my age, like first grade, second grade. I don't know how old I was, but these kids had drugs on them, and I remember seeing a bag of cocaine. And then throughout school, I was just confused of my sexual orientation. I dressed like a boy. We didn't really have money like that, so I had to share clothes with my little brother and whatnot. And then in the 5th grade, I was walking down the hall, and 2 guys jumped over the fence, and they tried raping me. And I had a sub-teacher that I couldn't stand, and that one was the one to help me get away from them, and he had them arrested. I'm reading from my notes because not I'll just start crying. Where am I? Okay, I started. Okay, so that happened, and then I started to see demons at a very early age in my life. They would all constantly harass me and scare me. I would see anacondas coming out of my bed and hiss at me. I would see this little girl. She had big blue eyes, completely pale, white dress, white hair. She was constantly following me. And in elementary, like around 4th grade, we locked ourselves in the bathroom, a group of girls and me, and we did a satanic ritual where you put candles in a circle, and you put salt around, and the candles were lit. And something happened where the lights turned off. And to turn off the lights, there's no switch in that school. The janitor had a key for it. So when the lights switched, we freaked. And the candles of the lights, there was 2 red ones, and the rest were black. And then we would see green eyes in the mirrors. And we were terrified. We didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. But I realized later on it was demonic stuff. Which that probably opened a door in my life, and I didn't realize it till now. And so I would literally be harassed and scared by these demons. At the age of 11, I was at a church, and one came, and I was alone with him in a hall. It was dark, and he said that he was there to kill me. And they found me in a position crying, saying, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I had blacked out. In middle school, 6th grade, I walked into the bathroom. This was a new school for me because my mom wanted to take me out of that bad school. There was 2 grown men molesting the girl. So I ran before they caught me to get a janitor for help, which is the first person I saw. And then about a year later, they came after me. The bell rung, and I was on my way out of school, and they were up front waiting for me and chased my best friend and I down the block. And I got on the bus, and thankfully I got away. I started believing I was a lesbian in middle school and asked God not to allow me to see demons or the spiritual world anymore. I tried taking my life around 3 times. I was one night in my room with a knife to my stomach, and my brother opened the door. I was babysitting him, and he saw everything, and he started crying and asked me to stop. So I flipped out and I threw the knife at my bed, but it came darting at me and I had to duck before it hit me. By the time I got to high school, I was trying to see who I was. So I dated men and women back and forth. By grade 11, I was kicked out of public schools with a GPA of 0.3. I went to an adult center, thank you, and got arrested. My probation officer was a woman of the Lord, so I thank God for that. And she had me start working. But that's where I was given alcohol for free. I was let into clubs for free. And I went out of the house at 10 in the morning, wouldn't come back till 4 the next day in the morning, drinking, and told my mom I had been working till 4 at the restaurant. And my life just went downhill from there. I only dated women. I didn't want nothing to do with God. And I fought my mom daily to leave me alone, not knowing that she was praying for me, laying hands on my bed and clothes, along with the rest of my family, and not knowing that I had someone watching me, which is Pastor Sergio. Somehow he had gotten into my Facebook and saw every move I made, so I guess that's where they knew what to pray for. I was so lost and hurt, and my thoughts were so evil. And one day I had a friend down here in Wynwood, actually, who was gonna hook me and my best friend up with drugs. So we came to church. We had a different church, and we came for the ride with my mom. She didn't know. I tricked her into thinking I was just gonna go to church. And while we were trying to leave the service, that's when God dealt with me and her as well. And this is how I know I'm not crazy, because she felt everything I felt. God just, so we were like 4 rows in the service, and I remember that we couldn't get up, and we looked at each other, and she was crying. She's like, "What is this? What's going on? Is this Satan? What's going on?" And we kept trying, and we couldn't, and from there I blacked out. I don't remember anything else, but I found myself at the front at the end. But during that blackout, I remember seeing the floor open, and I remember demons and hell in general, and I remember seeing Satan, and I had shackles on my arms, my wrists and my ankles, and he was just telling me, "Don't you know you're mine? Don't you know that everything you're doing is to serve me? You're my slave." And I started crying, and I said, "No, I'm not. You're a liar." And then I remember seeing Jesus on the cross, beaten, and he was telling me, "Don't you know how much I love you? That you would give your life to this? I paid it all. I did it for you." And there I felt so ashamed. I felt so much conviction. I remember crying out to him, "I'm sorry, please change me, please change me." And then I woke up, and I was at the front of the altar on my knees, And from that moment forward, I never did anything I used to do. I was made a new woman, and I give the glory to God. That day,